In today's video, we're going to talk about my 5 top tips for dealing with pregnancy nausea during the first trimester. I'm a mom of 4 and I'm currently pregnant with my 5th baby. And I've had pregnancy nausea for all 5 of my pregnancies. Now, it's been a little bit different for each one, but nonetheless, I've had it for all of them. Needless to say, I've had to try all the tricks, all the tips for dealing with pregnancy nausea, and in some cases, still dealing with toddlers, with young kids, working full time, and managing everything while I'm not feeling so great. In today's video, I'm going to share the 5 things that worked best for me in hopes that some of these things will work for you as well. Now, if this is your first time here, I'm Annie with Mom's First Steps, where we talk about all things pregnancy, postpartum, and motherhood with the goal of empowering new moms to embrace motherhood with confidence. Okay, let's get right into it. I'm going to share my 5 best tips, and number 5 was the most helpful one, so make sure you stick around for that one. Number 1, take pressure off yourself to be eating this perfectly healthy diet. Now, I'm sure like me, when you're pregnant, you are trying to be very mindful of the foods and the drinks that you're putting into your body. It's not just for you, after all. You are literally forming the bones and muscles and all the pieces and parts of your little one, and you want to make sure that you're putting good, high-quality foods in there. But let me tell you, when you're so sick and you can barely eat anything during the first trimester, this is not always the time to be super picky with what you're eating. It's more important that you are consuming calories to sustain yourself and to sustain your baby. I'm someone that typically eats really healthy, so this was a little bit hard for me. But what ended up happening with this 5th and most recent pregnancy that I'm currently pregnant with now, I actually lost weight between 2 of my first trimester prenatal appointments because I had such bad morning sickness. I talked to my OB about it, and she assured me that even if I have several weeks of not eating the healthiest food, just to try to make sure I'm getting enough calories. Of course, if you typically eat healthy and you go overboard with any sort of sweets or junk food, you also probably won't feel the best. So, of course, like anything, try to balance it out. But don't put a ton of pressure on yourself to eat this perfectly healthy diet in the first trimester if you're really, really nauseous. That can be such a challenge. And also take comfort in the fact that your prenatal vitamin can help make up for some of the nutrients that you may not be getting through your diet during this time as you're battling severe nausea. Number 2, I recommend eating smaller meals throughout the day. At least for me, when I became hungry in the first trimester, it meant that I was also nauseous pretty much every single time. So I could avoid becoming as hungry as frequently by eating smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day instead of 3 larger meals like I would typically eat when I'm not pregnant. This did seem to help me quite a bit because, again, I avoided that hunger, and it just helped me also not be over full, which also made me not feel so great. So definitely try eating smaller meals. Number 3, I found a lemon and ginger tea that worked really well for me. Now, this isn't sponsored, but the brand that I use, since I know some of you will ask, is Bigelow. They have this lemon ginger tea, and I would typically drink it hot. For some reason, I don't know if it's the lemon or the ginger or maybe a combination of both, but this tea just really brought me a lot of comfort. With this 5th pregnancy, I was drinking at least 1, sometimes 2 tea bags of this each night, which is when my nausea seemed to get the worst. I wouldn't feel it too much during the day, but then every single night it would come on really, really intensely. I would drink a lot of tea trying to help the nausea, and it did seem to really help. Also, bonus, tea is a great source of hydration when you're pregnant, which is really important as your body is ramping up your blood supply and putting a lot of effort into caring for your baby. Number 4, I constantly carried a little stash of saltine crackers with me. So I would take a little Ziploc bag, I'd put a few saltines in it, throw it in my purse or throw it into my work bag. I would just always have something on hand in case I got hit with a wave of nausea in the middle of whatever I was doing at the time, whether I was work or with my other kids or just waking up in the morning. I would always have a little something to nibble on close on hand. This took the edge off the nausea and usually helped me get through. Something simple and bland like saltines worked really well for me for this. My 5th and final tip, and the one that made the biggest difference for me, was taking a combination of Unisom and B6. Now, of course, always, 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 before you take any medication, especially when you're pregnant, Always ask for the guidance of your doctor before doing so. But when I went into one of my first trimester prenatal appointments, I mentioned earlier that I had lost weight between my first appointment and my second due to nausea. I wasn't able to eat very much and I was throwing up and things weren't really going well at all. So one of the things that my OB recommended is that I start taking this medication. Both are available over the counter, so you can find them really anywhere, at any drugstore, at any grocery store. You can even find them on Amazon. But the combination of these two were really helpful for taking the edge off of the morning sickness that I was having. It didn't completely take it away, but it got it to a point where I was able to eat a lot better. I was able to function better. I was able to live my life pretty normally instead of what had been a really, really challenging like week and a half, 2 weeks before I got it under control. As for the Unisom B6, I personally, like, Unisom makes me really tired. So that wasn't something, especially during the first trimester, I was already really tired. I didn't want to take that in the morning. So what I did was I took Unisom and B6 together at night, shortly before bed. And then I would take B6 in the morning again when I woke up. So doctor said this was fine. Some people can take it, I believe, up to twice a day. If you are really struggling and the first 4 tips don't help you, turning to medication might be an option for you. Just talk to your doctor beforehand. If you are going through pregnancy nausea right now in your first trimester, rest assured that this too shall pass. I've gotten through it now with 5 pregnancies, and it can be challenging for a while, but I promise you will start to feel better soon. I'm about 14 weeks pregnant now, and I am having almost no nausea, and I'm about to go off of the Unisom B6. So I feel like things are really moving in a good direction for me, and I'm feeling much more like myself. I'm able to eat a much better, healthy, balanced diet, which I know is good for my growing baby and for me. So you will get through this. It's all good. I'm wishing you the best of luck as you continue with your pregnancy, and be sure to like and subscribe for more great content for pregnancy, postpartum, and new moms. That's all for today. Talk to you soon.